Hey everybody, welcome back to a what I'll call a very special D&D Beyond dev update. If you're joining us for the very first time, welcome. What is this show? D&D Beyond is an official tool set. I think now the official tool set. I'll have to check on what that wording is. That feels nice to say though. The official tool set of Dungeons and Dragons that makes the game more accessible and easier to play. This is our weekly stream where we connect you with our devs, with our engineers to let you know sort of like what is coming up, what new features are being worked on, what changes are being made, all that kind of good thing. Um, if you're ever looking for sort of a history and an archive of what those changes are, you can check out our changelog on dndbeyond.com. If you're watching on Twitch right now, I think the mods are throwing it into chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description below. So yeah, usually the way the show works. Oh, I'm Joe. Hi, I'm the head of making videos about elves and dwarves and the Sword Coast here at D&D Beyond. Usually, the cadence of the shows will go through a bit of a roadmap about what's coming up, and then we'll interview a dev so that they can explain to me what any of that means because I'm an idiot. Um, uh, Today's a little different. Today, we had some pretty big news, so I thought I would just kind of sit down with everybody and just chat about it a little bit to just walk through with you guys. Hey, what does this mean? Is it good? Is it bad? Am I gonna lose my campaign? Let's dig into the nuts and bolts a little bit. So if you missed the news yesterday, we have officially become part of the Wizards of the Coast family. Uh, we'll also have if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have a link to the press release in the description below if you really want like the nitty gritty business. But the big headline here is that we've leveled up in a really big way, and we are all finally one single team. Dungeons and Dragons at Wizards of the Coast and D&D Beyond have always felt like part of the same family, and in fact, I think just based on a lot of reaction yesterday, I think a lot of people thought we were already the same family. Like why'd they buy their own thing? That's weird. But we weren't. D&D Beyond has existed as a licensee of Wizards of the Coast. Since the company started. And this just feels like a very appropriate evolution of our direction of our two companies' trajectories. So again, just to really reiterate that headline, we are so excited to announce that D&D Beyond is formally joining Wizards of the Coast. Um, and what that means is we're really bringing together two groups that really just love this game, just have a deep love for it, just eat, breathe, sweat, cry this game, and really combining our approaches and our mission to make D&D easy to run, super exciting to play, and accessible for anyone that has an interest in playing it. So let's get into some of the most important news of what that means and how it affects you. So here's how it affects you. For now, it doesn't, and by for now, I just mean cool changes will come. But in the immediate sense, we are business as usual. Uh, Wizards of the Coast D&D has no plans to end support for D&D Beyond ever. The purchases you've made, characters you've created, the campaigns that you run, those nights that you log in with your friends on Zoom that you haven't been able to see in person, none of that's going anywhere. None of it is going anywhere. So that is like the big top line I want people to walk away with. Like, you know, um, uh, this isn't like a weird acquisition where they're just like absorbing competition or something like that. This was, I think, a recognition between two groups with a shared love that we should just be, instead of on parallel roads, on the same path together. And it's really really cool. I have some to get me refocused because I'm very excited. Yesterday was a very big long day. In a lot of ways, this feels like a more important dev update than my very first dev update here. So I'm very excited. So I do have some what I'll call corporate speak words to walk through you, and they'll recenter me a little bit, right? So here's some company words. This is an opportunity for Wizards to increase capabilities and strengthen the team with veteran talent. It's also an opportunity to bring a best class company on board to help deliver the best possible D&D experience for players all around the world. D&D Beyond is a perfect partner for Wizards because we have the right talent and track record to support their digital tabletop strategy. And with this acquisition, we're combining our top talent with some of the strongest talent in the digital tabletop RPG space and accessing a vast player network. And that is a tremendous advantage for Wizards to develop a unified strategy for the D&D brand. This acquisition creates the opportunity to make DDB the official toolset. Oh, I should have read ahead. Yeah, we're the official toolset of D&D and unleash its ability to delight D&D players for years to come. Now, let me interpret those words into how we're actually feeling. Um, in the words of the great Jack Burton, feel a little invincible, man. Uh, I think I'll back up. Actually, my previous job I love, but I chased this job. I chased it because I think that D&D can make your life better. And this team believes that D&D can make your life better, that it can save lives. And I know that's like hoity-toity and fun because also at the baseline, it's just fun, right? But I've seen the improvements that playing this game has brought into my own life and into the lives of my friends. And I believe so much in this team's mission to make it more accessible and easier to play. That D&D's for everyone and that D&D Beyond makes it easy. I believe in it and everyone in this company really really does. Everyone on this team, oh my god, like believes that with just like their whole chest, right? And and so man, we're so excited. If you've been wondering why news has been a little slow on our end the past couple of months, here's the news. um so man, yeah, uh we're so stoked, even in just these first couple of meetings we've had with our counterparts. And let me also stress to you, as because I know questions are pouring in about like, what about this very specific thing? What about that? This relationship is real, real new. Um, and we've already. It was actually very funny in one of our big sort of like broad like welcome to the team questions. Like all of our, they were like, hey, do you guys have any just sort of general questions? Here's the tour. Any just general broad questions? And all of our whole team's questions were so like tactical and like down to the moment and like, oh well, what does this mean for XYZ? And everyone was like, I think we'll get there, because this is like all we think about, right? And so we had all these next step questions, features we've been working on and or fine tuning or even just like thinking about and like rough sketching out and stuff like that. And we were like, what about this and this and this and does that mean this? And it was so cool. I really think it a few of our counterparts kind of had this like almost like this Willy Wonka grin because you could kind of tell they were just as excited as we were. And they were like, "Yeah, let's talk about it." But also, now that our forces are combined, now that our powers are combined, why stop there? Why stop there? And I think I can't speak for everybody, but I left that meeting just like grinning, just like a dumb moron. So I am so excited. Um, Next steps. We're business as usual. Um, our first operating directive has been to keep on keeping on, man. Uh, you know, uh, they didn't buy the code. They didn't buy the brand. They didn't buy the logo. They bought the team and they bought our approach, um, which I'm proud of. I've only been on a member of this team for a year, but I'm proud of that because I watch how hard these teams work every day, and I'm proud of that. Um, I think we've always been a little competitive with Wizards of the Coast. let's be the absolute best we can be. Let's try to outdo them when we can outdo them and like win daddy's approval a little bit, you know? Um, and I think we might always try to stay that way. You know, I think we care about this a little too much to stop. So, you know, that said, it's business as usual for us and for you, and just making sure that we keep building D&D Beyond up to be the best experience for you, to give you the best games possible, to make those games simple and easy to play and fun, and to really help you um, deliver those experiences for yourselves and your friends, those shared stories, because I think those shared stories make such a big difference um, in our lives and in your lives. So that's next steps, right? Next steps is we're on the trajectory we continue to be on. Um, you probably got about a million questions about what comes beyond, right? Um, and I want to address that fairly today. We always try to make elements of this stream a Q and A. But I also want to be really, really honest. What we can say is we're insanely excited. I know I'm broken recording. I've said that 8 times. Uh, that said, I think most questions are going to be very like hyper specific, right? What about this? What about this? Because we have the same questions. Um, I will say we just moved in together. This relationship's very new. I'm not sure where our toothbrushes go yet. So instead of a Q and A where I go, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. That's a good question, but I don't know. I thought I would try to do us one better. I thought I would try, and I'll vamp for a minute after I say this, so you can get your pitches in there. Instead of a Q and A, what if we did a little pitch meeting? The future's bright. I've well past the sky is the limit right now. So let's do a little pitch meeting. What do you want to see out of this partnership? What do you want to see happen next? Drop that stuff into the question flow, and I might just start rephrasing some questions into pitches as you get them in. And I want to talk through them a little bit because this is exciting, and I want you guys to feel excited. I really want you to feel the honest sense that I feel like our team has, that this is insanely cool. So I want to dig into like what does insanely cool mean to you? Um, so like yeah, so let me start digging in. Um, uh, just to reiterate, Nick Orion asks, so how do you feel your new status as a Wizard of the Coast subsidiary is going to affect your workflow process going forward? It's not. Not to not to come off cocky, but what we do, what we do works, and it was kind of nice and validating to be told that, like, we see you, we see you, little brother. Now just get into the fold and let's do this. So, uh, if anything, it's just we're a part of the beast now. You know, when information happens, we have it right away. There's no telephone or talking back and forth or anything like that. We're just all part of the same ecosystem now. So if anything, I think workflow process. And by the way, that I think you might actually work for us because that is a very D&D Beyond team focused question. This is going to ease things up. This is going to open up all the doors. Yeah. Again, super super stoked. So let's go through what you guys want to see. Tominator 42 wants to see source tags under monsters, spells, and magic items in the app, just like there is in the website. I think it's a great pitch. I think David and team probably thinking about that stuff. If you haven't checked out the app, by the way, it's dope, and the work they've done on it is just incredible, and it keeps getting better and better and better with every update. So download it, check it out. It's pretty sweet. Um, Entman says, not a question, but it's about time this happened. Congratulations. You know what? It feels pretty good, and thank you very much. And yeah, I'm just really excited to just like get in the saddle and get to work. Um, uh, Let me swing down to the bottom here. Oh man, this is one. This is kind of cool. We've never heard this. Siler Gray says physical copies with DDB codes. That's probably the big one. That's probably the big one people ask for. New Swayer IA says an isometric VTT that I can use on my VTT at home and online. I think that sounds dope as well. Kavreen the Pally, you caught my eye with the word Skyrim. Can I please have a D&D Skyrim game that supports VR and has a DM that oversees everything and has D&D Beyond character sheets? Please and thank you. That's a big idea. um, I man, now I'm just thinking about that. Now I'm just thinking about a weird like hybrid open world game that also suddenly shifts back to tabletop. And can we do it? Maybe. I don't know. That sounds really, really sweet. The history prof really looking out for us. Will this affect compensation vacation benefits for you all? I think in positive ways. And well, here's something I'll say because I don't think you guys care about my insurance care here. I mean, you do like in like a general like we care about you sense, but like, do we want to spend time on it? No. I will say this, in that sense of they bought the team, they bought the approach. Everyone has an offer to come. This wasn't a weird acquisition where it was like D&D Beyond, and we're taking four of you. So in that sense, this feels really, really good, and natural, and yeah, 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 yeah. Rasdal says, "Did you receive a nice Wizards of the Coast goodie bag?" Not yet. I'm expecting one. Very excited to just continue evolving my Zip Up Company hoodie collection. Uh, I can't talk crap. I will probably feel like Theoden in Helm's Deep, where they're putting on his armor as I zip that thing up. I will feel like the coolest nerd in the world. Um, Lots of ETT in here. Is DDB? This is I mean, it's his username. I'm just saying his username. I'm not being political. Trump is a bad president. Asks, is DDB still based in Huntsville, Alabama? Yes. Well, DDB is based in a ton of places now. We will still be maintaining our Huntsville office, but we're also, I mean, we're international. We're in Poland. We're in California. We're in New York, and then everywhere and in between. We've got remote employees all over the place, working together and making our Slack look like the most insane ant farm that you have ever seen in your life. Ba, 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 ba. Let's see here. Goblin Zoid says, "Bring back the UA." Uh, I like that idea a whole bunch. I would absolutely love to. Cato Flex says, "Are you going to move to Seattle?" Um, no one has required me to move to Seattle, so I will be right here in beautiful North Hollywood, California. Um, Visiting Seattle scares me. I've actually never been to Seattle, but the whole Pacific Northwest just seems to have this like really beautiful vibe where I'm scared that once I visit, I'll very much want to go, and change can scare me sometimes. So I'm nervous about my first Seattle visit because that city's it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful, beautiful region. So I'm excited to go visit. And I've also had teased to me the legend of a beautiful game room in the Wizards of the Coast office, where sometimes Chris Perkins holds court and DMs, and now I can't stop thinking about it, which is bad because I'm supposed to be working. Got work to do. Bup, bup, bup. Will this merger affect your partnership with Critical Role? Partnership with Critical Role is back, if you haven't noticed, and rolling forward. So you will see us bothering Critical Role on a pretty regular basis in 2022. Yeah, you know what? I feel like the biggest pitch in here is book and digital book combos. Um, any chance that Wizards of the Coast content from DM's Guild would make it to DDB? Man, I'd be into it. I'd be so into it. That Adventurers League. Yeah, no, that would all be super, super, super cool. Um, Jeff Troot says, "Does this mean you will have a dev update every week?" That's a very fair question. We've missed a few this year for a few reasons. Some were medical and personal reasons on my end where we just weren't able to get on the air, and then sometimes they were kind of a lot's been on hold for us while we were sort of like working through this news. But I I want to tell you that yeah, I think there's going to be a lot to talk about in the coming weeks. I don't know what that flow of information is going to look like. Again, we are all just now like getting to know each other and putting names to faces, and really kind of um, starting to talk about having those meetings of like what's next. So well, next week's dev update. Uh, bring a full list of the things we're talking about and pitching on this list. I'm gonna set your expectations. Probably not, but I do think that that flow of information is gonna start coming, really fast, really furious, and there's just a lot of really, really cool stuff coming. Let's see here. Um, like K on 1765 says, "How come Sam's not, doing crazy ads for you anymore? All your ads are normal." That's fair. I think you can expect to see some Sam weirdness coming soon. And then Adoration OX suggests, what if we could design our own virtual dice? Which I don't think I've ever heard anyone suggest before, and seems kind of awesome. And Andrew, can we figure that out? Because that is pretty pretty sweet. Um, Ba, ba, ba. Fredward and the Bear said, "You said you used to compete with wizards on some things, but now you don't have to be. What kind of things were you competing on in the past?" I think, just to clarify that statement, I think just five. I think, we just always wanted to just to just keep proving yourselves, right? Like, hey, our articles are just as good. I'll speak for my team. I wanted everything we made here to be just as good, if not better. I wanted everything that we made to make people go, "Oh wow, what are they doing?" Um, that spirit's never actually going to leave. I'm a very competitive person, but I also know that every dev, every engineer here has always strived to make this the absolute best, the absolute most intuitive digital tool set, um, and that I think that hunger. Um, is not going to leave anytime soon. In fact, I think just now that we've got access to the treasure room, I, I think everyone's just those eyes are going to get bigger, and I think everyone's really going to get a little hungrier. And I'm so excited for what comes next, and I really hope that you all are too. Um, this is a really huge week for us. It's yesterday was just a cool day. Um, we're legitimately so thankful that all of you have been on board and with us since the start. Or you know what? If you just joined 3 days ago, if you joined yesterday because you were like, "What's the news about?" after you like read an article in Forbes, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the journey. And it's a brave new world. That's what we keep saying in our company Slack. It's the start of a new dawn, and we're excited you're here. And we'll see you next week on the D&D Beyond Dev Update. Bye, guys. Take care of each other. It's weird out there.